Hello and welcome back to my channel. I hope you all are ready for this next installment of a kaiju analysis video for the Lizard King Productions universe. So sit back and enjoy, and I will see you at the end of this video.
The backstory. In the 1960s, a Japanese fishing trawler found the carcass in their nets off the coast of New Zealand. It was large and red, about the size of 3 Ford Mustangs placed end to end. The flesh was rotting off, however the appearance of dark brown growths were seen. The crew took pictures of this catch and skin samples but threw it back into the sea due to the overwhelming stench from the carcass. With the photos and the samples in hand, the fishermen gave what they had to the local marine biologist for study. The biologist was completely stumped by what was brought to him. Reaching out to a few paleontologists he knew, one responded back saying that the creature closely resembles a titanosaur known as the Scopulomosaurus. However, upon further analysis, this creature is 4 times the size of the fossils in the museums that house these remains. It was clearly evident that this was a deep-dwelling creature and more research was needed. Dr. Shinzo Mifune, one of the leading marine biologists of his time, leads several deep ocean expeditions. He was able to do so using his latest creation, a one-man submersible that would allow him to reach the bottom of the sea. Months of going down to the depths and finding nothing. Many other scientists started to lose hope that they could find such a creature. Years passed and the scientific community gave up on a new prehistoric discovery, but not Dr. Shinzo. He kept searching the depths as he also studied new ocean life. Years passed and Dr. Shinzo stumbled upon an animal he had not seen before. At first it was just a passing glance, but then just outside of the lights of the submersible he saw it, a creature similar to that which was brought up from the depths. As soon as it was there, it was gone. Dr. Shinzo returned to his colleagues with the extraordinary news, but he was ridiculed and made a laughing stock out of him. He returned to his studies of this new species. It took months, but, finally, he was able to find a few of these creatures and observe them. They were mostly peaceful animals, keeping to themselves. From the studies of Dr. Shinzo, we read this, quote, Dr. Shinzo Mifune discovered a species completely new to science. Upon further investigations I came to realize that these creatures resemble the fossil remains of the extinct Scopulomosaurus. However, through studying these creatures I have noticed adaptations that these animals had to undertake to live below the crushing depths of the seas. These creatures are able to communicate with others of their kind but using a form of bioluminescence that flash in a brilliant green. Thought these creatures live solitary lives, only seeking others of their own species to breed. I have recorded sounds that these amazing creatures emanate that is picked up using an ultrasonic amplifier. This ultrasonic sound these creatures emit can be used as communication or as a weapon. Observing this behavior, it is similar to dolphins using their chirps to stun prey while hunting. While studying these animals I have come to learn while using ultrasonic waves I can make ocean life doing basic commands. This will need further study, but for now these amazing creatures have proven to me that my colleagues were wrong. While studying these creatures I have come across one that is so large it dwarfs all others. Because of this one specimen, I have come to call this species Titanosaurus. This extremely large specimen looks similar to its other kin, but there are changes that are different as well. Taking samples from the animal and the sea water around it shows traces of radiation. End quote. The year was 1968. During the time of the limited test ban of nuclear energy that was put into place in 1963, the French were conducting multiple atomic tests in the Pacific on the Mururoa and Fangatofa atolls. The radiation that leaked into the ocean managed to reach the dark depths of the ocean floor. One of these magnificent animals called this section of the sea, home. Being exposed for so long to the radiation and eating sea life that was also infected, caused this animal to mutate and become larger than its relatives. This explains why the Titanosaurus reached its size. Thus leading to an idea that came to the mind of Dr. Shinzo: what if, with his newfound discovery, he can find a way to control the larger Titanosaurus and make the nation who mocked him pay with the creature they claimed did not exist. However, all his funding was cut off, so he needed assistance. The anatomy. Titanosaurus is a beast who is, just like the rest of its fellow kaiju, a modern marvel to behold. Living in the dark depths of the oceans, this creature seldom, if at all, comes to the surface. As stated before by Dr. Shinzo, these creatures are very docile and mostly keep to themselves. The biggest one is very much the same, however, looking at this creature you can see that there are some differences that are noticeable. Looking at the head, getting the obvious out of the way, this creature does suffer from radiation poisoning just like the rest of its fellow kaiju. However, similar to Gorosaurus and Rodan, where their bodies and overall appearance are not that different from the animal they used to be, Titanosaurus bleeds from its eyes, nose, and gills. These creatures have no ears, due to their unique adaptation and living deep in the crushing darkness of the sea floor. They can still hear, but use ultrasonic waves to both listen, locate, and communicate while underwater. Looking closer at the top of the head and neck, there appears to be fish-like fins that reach from the head down the back. Looking into these animals and their evolutionary tree, they started adapting to the ocean depths. This forced their spines to grow cartilage that grew membranes in between each spine. These were used for show and a way to display their bioluminescence to communicate with other members of their species. Taking a look at this kaiju's arms and legs, they are bigger and bulging with muscle to help this creature support itself up on land. Looking at the others of its species, the Titanosaurus evolved these kind of legs to help them walk along the bottom like some of the bottom-dwelling fish known as Schaefer's anglerfish. These creatures evolved this way so to help them hunt along the bottom. The small arms helped steady themselves when the current would shift. Their rudder-like tail helped balance themselves while slowly moving along the bottom. The tail is one of their most powerful assets. There is a lot of muscle within their tails. It is magnified in the giant Titanosaurus. With just a few swings of its massive tail, it can create whirlpools so powerful it can suck down in a battleship like a bath toy. Looking at Titanosaurus's skin, it is covered in hard lumps of skin that appear to look like large rocks bulging out of red scales. This was due to the environment they lived in. The red color of their scales makes them invisible to their prey. The growths also help camouflage them with the sea floor when they rest or hunt their prey. The giant Titanosaurus is no different. When Dr. Shinzo came upon the giant Titanosaurus, he found it sleeping on the sea floor. This led the doctor to determine that these species of creatures are placid and docile. Even the giant had the same temperament as its smaller kin. But Dr. Shinzo also knew this beast had more power behind it thanks to the radiation it gave off, and it was the perfect specimen to use for his revenge against Japan. Its atomic power. The newfound species of Titanosaurus has the ability to use a form of biosonar, also known as ultrasonic waves. The unmutated Titanosaurs have the ability to send out a low-frequency beam of ultrasonic sound out of their mouth. This can either bounce sound off of a potential target and reflect it back to the aquatic reptile to pinpoint their target's location, or it can be high enough in the lower spectrum to knock out its prey temporarily to allow the animal to swallow its prey whole. Dr. Shinzo discovered that the giant Titanosaurus also has this ability, but thanks to the radiation this animal was exposed to, it can condense its ultrasonic waves down to a beam. This beam of ultrasonic energy can be used to terrible effect. Though, unlike its kaiju counterparts, Titanosaurus's ultrasonic beam is not used for long-range attacks. The beam starts to lose its effectiveness after 50 meters. Any opponent outside that range will not be heavily affected by it. That is why Titanosaurus is an up-close fighter. This kaiju heavily relies on its strength in its tail, legs and claws. If it believes it is not winning a fight, Titanosaurus will then use its ultrasonic beam. This creature uses bioluminescence to communicate. However, before it uses its ultrasonic beam, its bioluminescence glows brighter when it charges up its main weapon. The glow is so intense that it gives off a green gas-like vapor that gets more dense the longer the beam is charging. If an opposing kaiju is close enough to inhale this vapor, even for a few moments, it can cause momentary paralysis. The color gives this away, and this causes both friend and foe to give Titanosaurus some room when it charges up. The end of a monster. Dr. Shinzo spent 15 years perfecting his ultrasonic waves generator that allowed him to give commands to many different species of ocean life. His treasured specimen, being the giant Titanosaurus, was most susceptible to the ultrasonic waves and was the easiest to accept commands from the scientist. His studies were not unknown to a group of black hole aliens who previously tried to conquer the Earth with their mechanized version of Gojira. But their plan failed thanks to Gojira putting an end to their greatest weapon. Once the invaders from space learned of Dr. Shinzo's work, they came to him offering a high place in their society in exchange for the serves of the good doctor and his giant Titanosaurus to help them conquer the Earth. Dr. Shinzo agreed and unleashed Titanosaurus upon Japan. The black hole invaders unleashed their renewed Mecha Gojira to destroy the city along with Titanosaurus. Gojira showed up but was not ready for the combined might of both kaiju and was beaten off. Victory seemed inevitable and the world would be subjected to the black hole aliens. However, thanks to the SDF, Special Defense Force, and their combined efforts with the Japanese Special Forces, they were able to knock out the ultrasonic waves generator that was controlling Titanosaurus. Once the machine was permanently destroyed, Titanosaurus came to and had no idea where it was. Gojira arrived again to take on both kaiju for a second time. Titanosaurus wanted nothing to do with the fight and tried to flee, but Mecha Gojira would not allow it. This enraged the deep-sea dweller and it turned against the machine. However, the alien super weapon was too much for Titanosaurus and it ran and hid from it. Gojira was able to step in and finally defeat its mechanical doppelganger a second time. But in a blind rage from the fight, he went after Titanosaurus. Seeing this, the giant beast ran for the sea and escaped beneath the waves to return to the ocean depths where it stayed for the rest of its days. The aliens were defeated and Dr. Shino was a casualty of the fight between mankind and the space aliens from the black hole. Titanosaurus was and still is a wonder of science and nature, just like its fellow kaiju. These creatures that mankind has either forgotten or dismissed are the byproducts of our arrogance and delusion. We know more about the stars in the heavens than the deep dark places of world. Along with mankind's delusion arrogance, creating weapons too powerful to control and can shape the very landscape with the push of a button, what monsters of our own making will we resurrect from a time long since past? What beasts will we create due to our thoughtful ignorance of what science claims does not exist? Nothing is certain, nothing is truly gone.
We here at Lizard King Productions have noticed that 77% of you are watching this channel's content but have not subscribed yet. If you like these kind of videos and want to see more videos, would you consider subscribing to the channel? It really does help our channel grow and make it possible for more videos like this to happen. We also want to give a special shout out to our first member Crooked_Skull. Thank you so much for being a member. It truly helps this channel grow. You too can be a channel member. You can pick from one of 3 tiers and with each level up, the more you can become involved with the community and get a say in what is done next. Also thank you for getting to the end of this video. This is the last episode in Season 1 for both the LKP Kaiju Analysis and the LKP Speculative Evolution videos. But don't worry, Season 2 will be back after a well-needed break, so to focus on our original character Kaiju and many other great things ready for next year. We here at Lizard King Productions wanted to say thank you to all of you who have supported us and loved our work. It really does mean so much to all of us here. So in the meantime, we hope you all will enjoy our OC Kaiju analysis videos that take you deeper into the backstories of these amazing reptile kaiju. Until next time everyone.